So list all positions for 1, 2, and then cross out all the illegal positions. You should have crossed out 4. Yep. So here it is. Total number of moves. I just wrote them out here so you can see them. So there's 9 total moves. And then you're going to cross out some that are illegal. Which are you going to cross out?
The ones with the two.
These 2 are gone. This will never happen. This will never happen. This will never happen, right? And this will never happen. Because why won't these 2 happen?
Because one will be captured.
Right. So this you'll never see that configuration. You'll never see these 2 configurations because they would lead right back to the empty configuration. So those will be crossed out. So you should have something like this on your paper. I'm giving you the answers. How much better of a class can you get?
We still have to write it though.
What?
We still have to write it down though.
Oh, come on, for Pete's sake.
For the list, you don't want like the ordered pairs, do you?
No, you don't need, for the what do you mean? The list, you don't need the ordered pairs.
Okay.
So for the game graph, you're listing all the legal moves, everything that wasn't crossed out, and then you're drawing, for example, I could get from this side, I can move from this configuration to this configuration. How would this happen? How could this configuration move to this configuration?
You put the white.
I could put the white here, it captures the black, and it ends up here. So that's why I have a directed edge towards that. Those are all the rest. I had a chance, I have an eraser on this thing, so I had a chance to make it look nice. And it still doesn't look that nice. I'm also not a good peer observer of other teachers because I get jealous. So I get jealous of Dr. Nita because he can draw really well. And I think, wow, I wish I could draw like that. And I would draw these horrible looking things.
So we don't include the legal positions on the game graph?
No, it has to be, the definition of the game graph only has legal positions. And then you can move to another position from all those, you can get from one legal position to the other. So you'll have directed edges going from one to the other. Maybe you should have her do it. But I think that the nice way to say it is we're supposed to professionally develop every one of our students, so maybe you should write it the way she would write it.
Is this the game graph, right?
Huh?
The game graph?
The game graph? This is the game graph. Questions about this?
No.
Make sure you have words on it. I don't want to see just this picture and this picture with no explanation. You know what happens after 2 or 3 times of redos, I forget what the whole in-class assignment is. I have to go back and watch my own video to remember what it was. So please put some words on it at least. That tells you something. I'm not making a joke. It's actually true. I forget what it's about.
I'm just putting what it shows. That it shows all legal moves and where you can go and where you can't go.
Okay, this one's a little harder. So what I'm going to do for this one, this in-class assignment, it's actually moving to 1-3. Now that you saw how 1-2 works, 1-3 is a little bit more complicated. How many configurations total will we have before we X out the illegals?
27.
How do we get that answer? Right. So you can always get the total amount you have. It's the upper bound, right? Because there's 3 different possibilities you could put on each node, and you have a total of 3 nodes. So we get 3 to the 3. That tells you how many total amount of configurations you have. And then you cross out all illegals, and you place it into a graph. It looks a little messier than this one, than the first one. But I'm not giving you this as busy work. I'm giving you this because this is what you'll be doing with your own games. You'll be starting with something very simple, drawing it out, trying to get an idea of what's going on. And you always have to move to the second most complicated thing, or least complicated thing, to get an idea of what that formula might look like, or get a projection. There comes a time where you say, I can't do anymore. I mean, you don't want to do, you'll see in math, they won't go and just keep going because a mathematician wants a kind of a nice, concise way to express it. So the idea is not to just keep doing things on a computer and mapping things out, and that's why they'll still have things missing. Of course, you can run it on a Cray and keep going and just have that Cray machine running for a long time to get the answer for the next level. But what they're after is a closed form way of expressing legal moves in this case, or the game graph in this case. So you want some kind of nice way to say, I know what the game graph, I can predict for you what that game graph is going to be. Okay, and what we'll do is I'm going to look for an empty classroom or empty. Actually, wait a minute, I have a whole set of buildings over there. So we'll go over there, and I'll take you 2 by 2. And maybe what we could do is have you list out somebody with good handwriting. List out, or your parents. I would recommend. So when you're being recorded, you want to keep your eyes as if you're talking to the person on the camera. So if you're looking down at a sheet, it doesn't look good. So you should really have those memorized. But a nice way to get around that is to have something posted in front of and behind the camera so that you can look at it if you forget something. And you might want to also, if you're not as ready or prepared, spend the time in here discussing who's going to say what. So, have either one of your partners say one piece. So I'm going to give the examples, I'm going to give the definition. So for example, chess is not in there because, why is chess not a combinatorial game? Somebody was asking me that today.
Stalemate.
You can have stalemates, right? So you can have ties. Your game is not, the game with the triangles is not a combinatorial game. Dots and boxes, not a combinatorial game. Poker is definitely not a combinatorial game. NIM is a combinatorial game. Is there an easy game that's a combinatorial game? Is Domineering a combinatorial game?
Unless you know how to cheat,
Yeah.
you will go cheat.
You alternate sides in the loser.
Right.
Everybody knows the rules, there's no chance.
Right, it is, yeah.
I like domineering. Domineering is combinatorial.
Yeah.
It was with the horizontal, with the boxes.
Yeah, horizontal and vertical.
Horizontal.
My daughter liked that too, so you like to play it.
The dominoes.
I actually know how to play that.